Hello and welcome back to With Love Mama the podcast, or if this is your first time, welcome to With Love Mama the podcast. I am so grateful to have you here, and today's episode we're going to be talking about how tension in your body can actually slow down labor, and let's just have a conversation around it, what this means, and things that you could do to support yourself now in pregnancy, even before pregnancy, like just things that can support you to not necessarily have a super fast labor, right? Because that's not necessarily the goal. Like, I had a super fast labor, and honestly, it was a lot. Although it was so fast, it came with a lot of shock, and my body, had to adjust very quickly to like everything that was happening, and that in itself was like quite a lot. Plus, I didn't really get waves of contractions. It was like all at once. So it's not like we want to actually aim for that. Like, that's not necessarily the goal, but the goal is that your body can go at its own pace, but doesn't have to be kind of like held up or slowed down from anything that is linked to tension within the body. Really, I just want you to know, like, your body in labor, if it does slow down or it takes longer and there is a lot of tension there, it doesn't mean that you don't know how to give birth. It absolutely does not mean that your body doesn't know how to give birth. And potentially this is your second pregnancy and you're having a listen and your first birth didn't go as you desired and you want your next birth story to be different. Just remind yourself that your body does know how to birth. Of course it does. It's just that your body either doesn't or didn't feel safe enough to soften, because in labor, that is a huge key, right? It's surrender. It's a mix. It's a mix of rhythm of your body, your hormones, and surrendering, right? And so tension actually like interrupts that rhythm. I remember when I was giving birth throughout my labor, and I was just telling myself, surrender, surrender, surrender. Like, I just kept on repeating that, and your body is built to birth in my head over and over, because that's what it is. It's the surrender. I remember even when my contraction would get really, really intense, and it would be like, my body would try and fight it and try and hold tension, and I'd go, surrender, surrender, and just as best I could, really lean into it, really let go, really surrender and soften. So the softening part is huge, and I think that it's missed. I think that a lot of women don't realize that it's a huge part, and it's never that your body can't birth, because of course your body can birth, and like, of course it can. There's nothing wrong with you at all. So we'll touch on the key hormone in this scenario of labor. Guys, my baby brain, I say it every episode. Oh my goodness. I'm just like, what am I talking about again? Obviously I remember what I'm talking about, but like the articulation is just not key at the moment. Anyway, let's talk about like the main hormone, which is oxytocin, and this is the hormone that does drive contractions, or if you want to call them surges as well. That's like a hypnobirthing term. This hormone though is only released when you're feeling safe, calm, and kind of like in your own bubble, right? Like private, like really like, safety is just the perfect word, when you're just feeling safe and calm. So if you are in a place, in an environment, or even just in your body, you're in a stressful zone in your body, or you're freaking out, you're wondering what's coming next, like, am I in the right position? Where's the baby? How dilated am I? Like all of these things, right? Your body is then sensing that stress, or is feeling that stress, and then that's how your adrenaline is going to rise, and then your oxytocin is going to drop, because both can't really be like, they can't both be released at the same time. It's just not how it works, right? Like your adrenaline's rising, and that's dropping your oxytocin levels, and then that in turn is slowing down labor, because it's slowing down contractions, or it can actually stop contractions. It can you can get into like labor, and then if you are, and I'm not saying this also for you to be like, oh my gosh, I'm a control freak, how the fuck am I going to do this? Because you've got to remember that the oxytocin is releasing, right? And like yes, the stress, the adrenaline can rise and kind of take you away from that, but it's not like this like stop thing. Like I feel like you can pull yourself up on it and your body's doing its thing, and it's not just going to, like, you have time before it's just like switches off again kind of thing. I hope that makes sense. I really hope I'm articulating that properly. I just don't want you to go into like labor thinking, oh my goodness, like I don't have this, like I don't, like whatever, because your body does know how to birth. Again, just coming back to that, right? Your body knows how to birth. So yeah, just remembering that your body does know how to birth, but your body also can't prioritize birth if it's also prioritizing survival. So we just want to find that really beautiful space where we're like, I feel safe in my body, I feel safe in my environment. And that's what I mean as well. Like, you know, if you're noticing your mind is trying to take over and go into that fight or flight, how can you make your environment be optimized for the oxytocin can still rise? So this might look like red lights if it's nighttime, or candles, really dim, really dim. It might look like some relaxing music or burning some essential oil. It might look like a nice massage from your partner or your doula. You know, like ways your environment can be optimized to support the mind to soften as well. So that's what I was sort of trying to get at before. I just couldn't articulate it very well. So yeah, that's basically like that part of it. Tension as well. Like there's so many great Instagram pages out there that speak of like how tension in the jaw can actually, well, tension in the jaw is actually like gripping your pelvic floor, really. Like you can't soften if you're clenching your jaw. So we really want to like bring that softness throughout, because if we are having that fear and your body's stressing and tightening, and you know, you got to remember like your tight muscles are actually going to be causing more pain. Like I was saying, back to my birth story, how I was noticing when my body would try and fight the contraction, and then I would allow myself to go with it. I would surrender to it, because I knew like tightness is actually going to be creating more pain, and then more pain is just like more fear, and then you're like in this cycle, and we want to jump out of that cycle. We want to jump out of the cycle where our jaw's clenched and then our pelvic floor is gripping and our shoulders are lifted and we have a shallow breath, because you're actually just making your body work harder than it needs to. So yeah, you just want to remember a tight jaw like also means a tight pelvic floor, but a soft jaw means, I guess, like a soft pelvic floor. So like it's going to allow your pelvic floor, your cervix to open, and that's what we want. We want that openness, that softness, because that's like the beauty of this. So the more you fight your own body's rhythm and the less you surrender, the more tension you're holding, it's just like a cycle that you can get stuck in, right? So I think just having this episode to listen to is just great to get you thinking, even just in your everyday life as you are walking throughout your life and just like going throughout your day, potentially at work, on your way home from work, whatever your day looks like. How are you letting yourself soften, or are your shoulders tight? Are your glutes clenched? Is your jaw tight? You know, like just even having that body awareness now and just bringing that softness in way before you have to give birth, right? Or should I say get to give birth, because it's an honor to be able to give birth to a little tiny human. So yeah, there's that as well. It's like starting to check in now, because checking in now is actually going to allow you to change how you are responding as well to stress when you're feeling like, you know, when you go into labor and it's like, oh my gosh, this is all new, like, oh, what do I do? We're going to soften. We're going to take deep breaths, and that's what we're going to do. So the reason the pelvis also does need softness to open, as I was just kind of speaking about, is because when the body is tense, like I said, the pelvic floor is tense. If the pelvic floor is tense, all of your ligaments are restricted. Everything's just held really tight, like wound up, right? Away. Okay, I'm just jumping back in because Kodak ended up waking up from his nap and I had to pause there. So where I was up to, I was just speaking about how the ligaments are restricted. And if the pelvic floor is tight, the ligaments are restricted, everything's wound up, the baby has less space to move down, rotate, and descend, which is descend is moving down. Again, baby brain. Because when the body softens, that's actually when your pelvic floor can go from really restricted, or constricted is probably a better word, like wound up, to being able to lengthen. And it's easier for the baby to navigate through the pelvis because the sacrum can actually move out of the way. So if we're like all wound up, clenched, our glutes and everything, holding it all with the contractions and like almost holding it in and not just letting it move through us, then it's the exact same. It's like you're holding the baby in and you're not allowing the baby to move down. So just knowing that, I guess, birth it's less about actually pushing the baby out and doing something, right? It's actually more about softening and allowing yourself to just go. And, of course, it is like an incredibly large, huge sensation of getting a contraction. Like, I know if you've been through it, you're thinking, my goodness, like, this is a lot to surrender to. It is, but you're so strong and you've got it and your body knows how to do it. But it's less about doing, it's less about pushing, it's more about allowing the space for the baby to move through you, right? Just as you're allowing the contractions to do so. Yes, again, like, I'm going to just reiterate it one more time, I guess, is like, this is also great for you to take with you just in your mind, so that when you do enter labor, you go, oh, yep, okay, I've got tension and I'm going to focus on my breath and I'm going to surrender. But if you're noticing like your contractions are starting to space out again, I don't know why I said again, but if your contractions are starting to really space out, like maybe you're getting into a good rhythm and then they start going further apart again and you're going, interesting, potentially tension could be the reason. So we want to be taking deep breaths, moving with our body, just listening to our body. And, sometimes like some of the positions or sounds or things that your body wants of you seem super weird and left of center for you, but just go with it, okay? Because you are not a freak for making that noise or getting into that position or anything like that. Women have been birthing for bloody forever, obviously. And like the more that you go with it and you just go, okay, normal me on a Tuesday probably wouldn't get down in a deep squat like this in the shower and hum. But birthing me is going to do that because that's exactly what my body is asking of me, okay? So just remembering, like, you don't have to perform or anything in birth, right? And so, yeah, there's that. And then, like, labor stalling as well. Like, if you kind of get to, like, a certain dilation, if you are checking that and then you're, like, not moving past it, not making it mean there's anything wrong with you, nothing like that. Let's just anchor into the breath. Let's get really comfortable. Let's feel really safe. Is our environment actually optimized, or can we tweak some things in our environment? Are there too many people around? Is your support person supporting you in the way that you need them to? Are you getting into the right positions? Is your breathing shallow, right? Again, the breath is huge. I think the breath is just the most powerful thing giving birth. It is just so insane. And yes, it's hard to actually stay with like a really consistent, deep, beautiful breath through the laboring process, but like it's just doing like the best you can without making it like making you yourself feel like you can't do it or something. Like, yeah. Or if you're beginning to feel really overwhelmed or like defensive or something, like just, okay, let's move, let's change the environment, let's see what's actually working, let's breathe again, just coming back to the breath, coming back to surrendering, because it doesn't actually mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means your body's trying to ask you gently for a deeper sense of safety, right? We just want safety in birth. We need to be safe to give to birth. We need to be safe to give birth to our child. Hence, I call the oxytocin, we're like opening, and then that adrenaline does actually kick in just before you give birth to the baby, because you need that to actually be really aware of what's going on around you and to make sure it is safe to bring your baby. But we don't really want that kicking in early, because then that's stalling it. So I feel like I've kind of covered how tension can really like make labor go slower, and I just want you to remember that sometimes the most powerful thing that you can do in labor isn't to try harder. It's not to try to do something or be anyone or anything. It's actually just to soften. So just allow this to be your invitation to soften deeper into your body, into how you're feeling, all of the things, and practicing that from now, because this can be learnt, like the softness and like the groundedness in your body. And again, unclenching your jaw right now in this moment, bringing yourself back to that over and over, dropping your shoulders, slowing down your breathing, because it's the exact type of softening that your body desires in labor. So you may as well get practicing now. I have actually loved this episode. I feel like it's a really just cool topic to bring it to your mind as well before entering the birthing portal, because it's like you can actually start implementing things now, and it's not like this huge thing that you have to bring into your day. And I think it's also empowering to know that you can birth your baby. There's nothing wrong with you, but like what isn't making you feel safe. And if you don't know what would make you feel safe in your birthing place, I just want you to actually take a look around, like your bedroom, if that's your safe space, right? And just be like, what's in here that feels really safe? Okay, I have a dim lamp, or like a candle, or an incense, or my favorite blanket. All of those things can, if you're choosing a hospital birth, go with you to the hospital, or you could literally just labor in your bedroom if that's what feels aligned, right? Like, you allow this to be your permission slip that you are allowed to soften right now in this moment and throughout labor, birth, and beyond, and you deserve that. And no one else can. Don't let anyone else tell you that you can't have it the way that you desire it, because it's your birth, it's your journey, it's your story. I really hope this episode has supported you. And just a reminder that I do work with women as a doula in the preconception, pregnancy, and postpartum stages of womanhood. So if you are desiring some support throughout your pregnancy to prep for your birth, or potentially you're in postpartum and you just need that little bit of extra support, don't forget to go find me on Instagram. I've got everything linked below, and I would love to hear from you. I'd love to have a little chat with you. And yeah, thank you for being here, and I'll be back in your ears next week. Bye.